Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon and happy Wednesday, everybody. Here we are, another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox coming to you, well, live right now, but it'll be on tape later if you click on the button on South Florida Live or the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group. Another beautiful January day, and we see we've got like Mike Lubie Lubitz to my bottom and to your I don't know what it is, to my right on the screen here.
It's your right, and
Yeah, it is my right. Yes, with a hat and a mug of, I don't know if it's hot cocoa or hot tea or hot toddy.
No,
but
it's
the man on the
water.
mend. Yeah, I'm
Tap
sorry,
water
it's
right
tap
here.
water.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
the
tap
man on the mend, Jeff Defo Tavares. Do you have anything to reveal about your overall health status?
Seems to be vastly on the improve. I mean, the good news anytime you have a cold is you wake up in a pool of sweat and you realize, okay, the thing is cracked, it's broken, but still, in general, feel okay, except a little fatigued and the slightest of remnants of what would be maybe a head cold are still plaguing me a little bit. But, vastly improved over the first couple of days of this, what turned out to be COVID-19, which, and I never seen a guy celebrate it. It's like somebody found out that they had like liver cancer and you said, hey, you see, I was right.
All right.
Like,
First
you
of
would want
all,
the person to find out it was nothing. I still can't believe it. Actually, that turned out to be a positive test, and it is a home test, so they're not always 100% accurate, right?
they're not 100% accurate. Did you take another test today to kind of
No. Mustang tested also positive with the same home test. So the two of us are here in the house, and I think we ordered more of these freebie tests, but I don't know that we have any. So I'm going to wait.
I have a
guess till tomorrow.
bunch, and believe it or not. All right, so I did want to.
I would imagine you have everything at home.
Of course,
You have
because
your home IV administration kit. I mean, you probably have a whole hospital in there.
Okay, first of all, with the last name like Mayo, a lot of people tease me for mayonnaise, but Mayo Clinic. So of course I'm going to be like all attuned to health.
Well, when did this start, though, this hypochondria that you have? Because I remember, too, when COVID first broke and you used to come out to the track and we were doing the Gambling Gourmet on the radio show, you were hypersensitive to the whole, masking and not getting anywhere near anybody thing, even when the vaccine had already, come out and had been administered to a lot of people.
Well, he has his mom. He's around his mom. I get that.
Yeah. So,
I understand that. Okay.
When
that
it
makes
comes
sense.
to COVID-19, if you're around somebody who's, elderly, and I consider you elderly now too, so I'm trying to be sensitive
right?
for your sake. But again, my mom, she has certain underlying conditions, and then of course me. Before we were blessed with these vaccines, which seem to be highly effective, and again, the point of vaccines is not to, it's not going to completely prevent people from getting COVID. But when they do get COVID, like in the unfortunate situation that Sally and Defo find themselves in now, is that you won't get as severe a case. It won't lead to hospitalization and or death.
Well, so far that's true.
Fully vaccinated,
yeah.
and it should be reducing what could be a fatal illness to something more along the lines of a bad head cold or a slight flu, which is what you've endured in the last couple of days. Now, I was not celebrating
slight flu. I mean, it was a pretty good flu.
Okay,
the funny thing is that the immediate, but you're like a lot of these guys and I hate to say it, but they seem to side with like MAGA viewpoints. I don't want to get political about it, but, I was talking to a friend of mine. He wanted me to go to Las Vegas with him to go to this convention yesterday. And I was like,
wait, I'm siding with MAGA.
Here you go. Let me,
I'll let you finish and then I'll blow you out of the water, but go
no,
ahead.
you won't, because this is the kind of thing you think. And it's unfortunate. It's just like going along the lines, if I was right, it was COVID all along. This guy says to me, and you see, you got all those vaccines and you still got it.
But what did I just say, Defo?
Well, and
these new strains.
I'm with you on that.
The vaccines, it's not going to prevent these strains as they're
But they
evolving.
get a certain thrill, these people.
They're like excited.
You ended up with it, even though you had the
Now
vaccine.
you're twisting everything around, as you are wont to do. The thrill I got was because I went 0-6 in football, and I said maybe Defo.
That's what you're happy you were right about? You
COVID.
could have been right about the Cowboys? I mean... that I am afflicted with a
wrong,
potentially
because I
deadly
took-
disease. Way to go, man! Unbelievable.
When I heard you describe your symptoms, and when I saw you, and you had that look, that kind of look, and I can't look. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I just know that sometimes it's better to just take a test. There's no harm in taking a
No,
test.
I didn't feel badly about that. I just felt it was so unnecessary because I felt like COVID-19 would have been far more debilitating than what I was experiencing. And the good thing was it was easing up. I mean, considerably. I mean, 100% different. What do you got on there? You're taking your blood pressure as you go?
Pole socks. I feel like it's Grey's Anatomy.
Unbelievable. Man.
Okay, so this, all right. Look, we're going through another wave now. That COVID, that there's this new variant out there that, and unlike the MAGA people, I take this disease seriously. This is a virus, and when you're dealing with a virus, viruses mutate and evolve. The virus's only function on this earth is to replicate and keep going.
Yes.
And it's up to us as a human
Kind of
race
like
to
people.
try to
I mean, same
kind of
thing,
like
right?
people.
Yeah.
I just want to get people prepared because there is, again, it's a widespread wave. This new variant that's out and about is much more readily transmissible and catchable no matter how many vaccines you've gotten. And for those who haven't gotten a lot of vaccines, you should be careful. And again, should start being a little bit more mindful of crowds and masking and being indoors, especially if you're older or like me have certain I'm fat.
Yeah.
I'm obese and obesity.
You didn't have to go there, man. You're a food critic.
Pre-diabetes,
Yeah.
but that's why I was very sensitive at the beginning, because I think this disease was targeting me. I was the big fat bullseye for it, but now
Seemed arbitrary. I mean, it really did. Arbitrary.
It's so. But what I want for you, Defo, is again this new wave is coming from the Northeast. This new strain that's now the prevalent strain in the Northeast.
I think that's what I got. Whatever it is.
And everybody is coming down here. I'm not blaming your friend, the Godfather of Fun, but it's just a lot of people
he seemed fine.
that was at the food festivals and all these places that we've been out, and casinos and poker rooms and things like that. It's just people should be mindful. And one of the tools that you should have, especially if you are COVID positive, is this pulse oximeter here. And you poo-poo it.
Where'd you get that?
I bought the original one I bought.
Not a Ron
COVID.
Popeil invention. I mean, did you get that with the Vegemanic? Another thing absolutely free. Must have completed your 5 easy payments of 1995.
Sharks, the woman from the Sharks.
So I got one originally at the beginning of the pandemic, and that one finally conked out, and I couldn't figure out how to replace the battery. So actually, I got this one when I thought I was coming down with something yesterday. I felt like you yesterday, where I felt like I got hit by a Mack truck.
See, that's a funny thing about you, and that's really the
pudding,
proof.
Oh my God, I must have it.
You're a hypochondriac. I must have it too.
Right.
Like if somebody said, "Hey, I have an autistic child," you would say, "Wait a minute, I'm autistic also."
No, that's not the case.
I have those symptoms.
The case is all of a sudden, yesterday I had a little stomach issue overnight, and then
well, it could have
yesterday,
been from 5 events at the Fort Lauderdale Food Festival where you were judging and tasting everything.
Of course, but we're not blaming anybody's food. It's
no,
just
I mean just
overconsumption.
Yeah.
But then that was a little bit off, but I felt fine yesterday. But then all of a sudden, like at 4 o'clock, I felt like all of a sudden I got flushed. I was sweating. I had chills.
Were you at the track?
Feel right.
Describing all of the symptoms of losing.
Of losing
the first 4 legs at the pick 5.
No, I was out and about doing errands, and I just felt like crap. And all of a sudden, all I wanted to do was just get a bowl of soup and then go to bed. But then I took a home test and I was negative, thank goodness. But I ran out and I got myself a new pulse oximeter just in case.
Where'd you grab that? At CVS or something?
Any local pharmacy. I got mine at my Publix pharmacy, $29.95. And this thing, you see the number on it? Oh, all right. So the top number is and it's backwards now, but it's what your pulse, or actually the oxygen level in your bloodstream. Right. And what's considered a normal level is anything 95 and above. When I first stuck it on my finger, it was at 98. Well-conditioned athletes are at 99. Yeah. Right. But with COVID, it's one of those things that
you're one tick away from being a well-conditioned athlete. I mean, what kind of bogus measurement is this?
It's because eating, it really keeps you in shape. When you have to kind of
breathing.
Chestnut's not
breathing
fat.
and eating.
Chestnut, he's relatively trim.
But what I would suggest is that if
Kobayashi was skinny. Remember him?
Because even though you think it might be okay, sometimes it has that second week where it comes back. I mean, you would know if you're like short of breath and stuff like
If you
that.
breathe fine,
None of that was in play here.
Okay.
I mean,
But
and there were times,
if
yeah. I mean,
if it
yesterday I felt fine. So
if it dips below 95, if it's in that 90 to 95 range, you just
yeah.
want to kind of keep an eye on it. And if it ever goes below 90, and this is serious now for people out there, if you have a pulse oximeter and you do test COVID positive and it goes below 90, that's the time you should be going to at least an urgent care center or an emergency room to kind of get monitored and checked by health professionals. You might need
Well,
supplemental oxygen and on other things.
I wish you were my primary care physician because they have 0.0 Blutarsky amount of
not
concern
worried at all.
for my health as I called yesterday afternoon and then found out that my call was never processed because it went to
course
some
not.
phone bank in Guam.
Right.
And then I called again this morning, and what is it now? It's after 12 o'clock. We're on the lunchbox, and I've yet to hear back from anybody.
Now-
Where, I mean, all they know is that I called. I told them I was basically okay. That was probably a mistake. But for all they know, I'm on my deathbed here with a toe on my tag, ready to go right into the morgue. And zero concern from my primary care physician. This is the person that's supposed to be most concerned about my health.
This is a sad lesson now about the American healthcare system. Even for those of us fortunate enough to have Medicare and reach the promised land and whatever supplemental insurance.
The nirvana of medical care.
And I've learned this through the past few years of being caregiver to my parents, my dad, and you know, he had health conditions. You've got to be your own best advocate. And if they're not picking up the phone, you call again and again, or get your butt and go down there without an appointment and just say, hey, I'm COVID positive.
I got COVID. What you going to do for me, huh? I'll infect everybody in here. I'll breathe on everyone if you don't give me a shot.
And if your primary care physician says, oh, go to the ER, then you need a new primary care physician because that doesn't rise to the level of the ER. But what I found is these new kind of urgent care centers that a lot of the hospital districts have set them up around town. And also some of them are private, like CVS has their own urgent care
I was
center.
going to say, I think CVS has them.
Yeah, and these are pretty good places where they have some of the better ones. Like I have one right around the corner from me. It's so convenient. It's by Memorial Healthcare System.
Well, for you, I would just get a timeshare there.
Yeah, I've been there a lot. Well, I broke my wrist, but I've got to know all the doctors there for all my hypochondria. But you go in there and you have to pay a little bit of a higher copay or deductible, but they whisk you in and out. And then they have actually doctors on site, and most of these where they could prescribe you something like a Paxlovid or whatever, but now it's too late for you for that. So that's
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm still within 5 days of experiencing the symptoms. So
first symptoms, that's so.
So I would just like to talk to a guy and have him say, "Hey, yeah, look, you
smart.
can take this stuff and ride it out, and maybe they'll get rid of the rest of it if there is any lingering impact of this, or you're okay. Just don't worry about it, Mr. DeForest. You're fine. You seem to be going in the right direction, and this stuff should dissipate in a matter of time, and you'll be fine."
Well,
but it would be nice to hear that from a guy that is every time. See, now one good thing about Medicare, if you don't sell out to like J.J. Walker or Joe Namath.
Yeah, those Medicare Advantage programs are the worst.
Right. Where you get back the $140 or whatever it is that you were paying into Medicare out of your Social Security payment. But you also forfeit your right to go to any physician anywhere in the world, which is like a ridiculous thing to do. Because literally, I mean, I don't have to go to this guy if I have a problem like I did with my toe. I don't have to go see this guy first. I can go straight to any specialist. If there was a heart ailment, I can go right to the top guy in the country. So
this is something I've learned. Real straight Medicare. You want to be on straight Medicare with a supplemental, not Medicare Advantage, because then you're highly limited. It's like being in the world's worst HMO because you can only see
and it's such a problem. I mean, it really is for people. They get medical care. The word care has gone right out of the entire industry, and it's just like medical potluck for the most part.
Yes,
and not particularly good luck, like the kind of luck you had betting games over the weekend is the kind of potluck you get. But if you stay on it, I mean, you usually can get. I mean, I'm sure I could walk in anywhere and find something. I don't know why I call this guy because he's usually the one that if you had a prescription for a cold or something, this would be the place you would go. But so far, zero response from these people, which is not.
You gotta be your own best advocate. And welcome to another edition of the Mayo Clinic lunch hour.
You're great on his stuff, though. I mean, a little over the top, but I mean, better to side on the air. Err on the side of caution. I think
that's why I'm not a mag. I mean, I'm not saying it's nothing. It's just like
got weirdly excited. It was like the text yesterday was. was, "Ha
Well,
ha!"
because
Well, I see, because that's your sports background speaking. Because as a sportscaster, I know that there's no worse feeling than we don't mind admitting to being dead wrong about stuff because it happens quite often. I mean, you're going to be wrong about a lot of things, outcomes of games. But I think you're sensitive to it. You don't like to look like a clown, especially on this show, your own show, and then it's good. It's revealing at least that you were honest enough to say that you would have been 0-6 this weekend,
right,
and listen
and
for
it
my
just
picks on Friday on Degenerate Friday, and I'll bury you guys again,
it felt
which is
good to
great.
finally be right about something, even if it was your declining health and possible
Yeah,
mortality.
thanks. Even my pending death. I mean, you happen to be right. Don't you have the over under at like 75? No, that's the Greek
No, it's the
for
Greek. I
years that
think
I'll be alive.
you've got longevity in genes. I was
I
kidding.
was just about to kick up, and I think
I'm
I'm going to
saying
do it
you're
anyway.
plus minus at least 12. I'm setting my line at
I
12.
went to,
at least to
and I feel
85.
badly about this. I went to see my podiatrist yesterday because I had an appointment. This was before I took the test, and I did wear a mask,
Oh,
thinking
good. So you didn't
I
infect
didn't
everybody
want
in
to
the office.
communicate even a bad cold to this guy, right? So because he's seeing people all day too, and been a good friend of mine. He's also 71, and I went in there and I got kind of the thumbs up, like start walking again if you want for as far as you can go, and I'm about a week away from full recovery. So I was getting ready today. I think I'm still going to try it, like a very minor step out there and put my toe in the water, so to speak, for like a mile walk of life. So I feel well enough to do that, and that's good. I mean, if I was really jammed up with this stuff, I'm sure I'd be just flat out on the
All
bed
right,
the rest of the
we
day.
just want you and Sally to be on the mend.
Be
And again,
careful.
welcome to the Defo and Mayo Clinic
What's this
Medical
got to do with
Hour.
food? What do we
This
eat,
is
man?
right.
What do you eat when you're sick? Matzo ball soup?
Now I
What the
wanted to
hell?
get
Actually,
into
we've never
the
talked about
food
that.
part.
It's actually an interesting
Yeah,
conversation.
well, when you have COVID, again, people are saying
Sense of
that
taste is fully intact, though.
that's
Absolutely
good
fully
because.
intact. Yeah.
And let me ask: is this your first confirmed bout of COVID? Or
Confirmed, yeah. I mean, honestly, I have to say, I thought I had some kind of brush with this when it first was on the scene before anybody really knew what it was.
yeah, that's
And
we all
I
thought
often
that it
reference
was
this.
just like cool.
No, but
He
I
was
had
sick as hell for like
symptoms
2 weeks.
that
No,
made
me
sense.
too.
Yeah,
In February,
it made sense.
yeah,
That
but
very first year, I had gone to Atlantic City right when the outbreak was starting to be discussed, and people said it was COVID. And I was on a bus with a bunch of sneezing old geezers from that Alta Cocker tour that I take. Where they fly you up there from West Palm Beach, and then you're on a bus together with all these people, and they're all hacking away. And I got back, and I had like the weirdest cold, but I do remember that I was dead tired, like I'd never been. And then later, it was mentioned that this was one of the symptoms, and I thought that I had it, but with very light symptoms. And then the
right,
rest of
but
the
that
year,
was
I mean,
never
for 3
confirmed,
years,
and
I
you didn't.
never had a bad day, never was
Right.
unhealthy for a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had the one confirmed case back in May, and I did lose my sense of taste and smell, and that was the only way I knew I had COVID. I had no other symptoms. It was very bizarre.
Well, I
But
mean, it would have been hard to measure because you were, dining almost exclusively on Skyline chili at the time. And
well,
how
that
would you
was
know if you had a sense of taste? Obviously, you had
I
no sense of
I had no
taste.
sense
Sense
of
of taste,
taste.
real taste.
That's how he knew. He's like, it
This
was.
Yeah. If that
Hey,
stuff
so
tasted good, then you would have gone and gone to a hospital right away, right?
no, it was that I knew I had no sense of taste because I was eating a leftover slice of Pizza Spot pizza, and all of a sudden it tasted like cardboard, and I know it had great flavor earlier in the day or the day before, and then I said I know something's wrong, and I took a swig of orange juice, and there was no taste at all,
Oh
no
no, that's
sweetness,
not
no
good.
nothing, and I was like, uh oh, and then I took a test, and sure enough,
This might be
but
enhancing my sense of taste. Everything tastes
oh,
great, man. The
well,
Mustang cooked something last
that's
night. It was
good.
great.
And what you should be eating now is lots of good, the superfoods, the things with antioxidants, blueberries, leafy greens like kale, and then also the good old Jewish
Well, what's
penicillin,
really
matzo
good with
balls too.
kale, man? I mean, besides that soup that you like from those Asian places,
Oh,
kale. I just never got into the whole kale
all
thing.
right,
Oh,
then just eat a
did you
lot
ever
of.
get into like wheatgrass and all that stuff at health food stores at
No,
any
I
time?
wasn't. Well,
Get sucked
sometimes
into
I
that?
took a couple of shots of wheatgrass, but no, I would
Maybe
say,
you were dating a
I
woman and
like
she was into
spinach.
this
I
sort of
can't
thing, so
spinach.
you tried it.
blueberries are your
Oh,
friend.
that's really
Fresh
Blueberries are
fruit
good,
is
yeah.
your friend.
Anytime, yeah.
Citrus fruits, and again, just things that keep your nasal passage, herbal teas, things that again soothe your throat. And soups, just chicken soup. And last night I had a good bowl of pho, and that made me feel a little bit
Fuzz.
better.
What
You know,
I
had
love
the
about you, though,
nachos.
Michael, is that I was the one who was sick, and you're the guy that's eating like you were sick.
But I really felt
It
genuinely
really
sick
is great.
yesterday.
Yeah,
But it is true because you just say the word, "Oh, I have COVID," and it's like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
now
All
I'm
of a sudden,
infected."
you're
I got
like,
infected through the screen. Here, touch.
Samuja,
Here, just Breathe on it.
Apparently, though, I guess it must be going around pretty,
No, it's
pretty
back.
It
It's
is.
back, and people should be mindful. And that's
frequently. Yeah,
the message of the day.
yeah.
Now, let's move on to the food portion. Jim Sarney tells me that today is National Peking Duck Day, and
Oh, there's
which
news
is
on that front.
okay. Is the
Oh, the
Peking
Duck
Duck
House.
House back? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't know that they're back, but last few times I've gone by there, including 2 times yesterday, much more activity out there.
And
There
we're
had been
talking about
Peking Duck House on Atlantic
where?
Boulevard, world's best
In
Peking duck on the
what
side.
city? I always have to tell everybody on Let's Eat. What city?
Pompano Beach. Yeah,
Thank you.
This one.
Pompano Beach.
Peking
And
Duck
you know,
House.
I know you're not a big fan of the place. I don't understand why, because I
I've
do
never been in
believe-
there, so I can't
Well,
judge.
that's why, because you've already pre-formulated an opinion that they suck. But
It just looks a little
no,
dingy.
it
It's like
actually,
one of those,
I think it may not be the best Chinese food. You may not feel like you're, at Wohop or in Chinatown in New York. But I think it's among the better Chinese food that you can find around here. The
Of course
Peking
you
Duck
do,
House,
because you have
very
Michelin
reputable.
taste. Yes.
No, but I mean, I know
No,
my
I-
Chinese food. I grew up in New York
Oh,
City. I
now
know the
he's
whole
getting
game.
defensive. I'm getting
No,
Jim
but
right.
only because you're condemning a place that you haven't tried and poo-pooing
Right.
it as if it was nothing.
Right.
And if you read the Let's Eat South Florida reviews
Totally
when
unfair.
it was in action, I would say the majority, over 70%, had nothing but high praise for the place and said, yeah, like me, that it was very good. I mean, it may not be something that's going to win any contest, but by the standards of the other places around the area, a very good place for Chinese food and with good prices and good quality. But it looked like they were coming back, maybe making a little bit of a stride toward a comeback.
So
And
now we have to
in
have
like a year.
let's have a prop bet. Which is going to open first? Is it going to be the rebirth of the Peking Duck House or the return of Anthony's Runway 84?
What's the story on that?
I don't know. They keep saying the.
Remember
any
you
day
said
now,
it was
any
going to be
day now.
like Thanksgiving back in
No,
the day?
they were hoping for the boat show. I said if they're lucky, it'll be by Christmas, and if they're
Yeah.
not lucky, well, here we are, where you get
This has been almost a
permitting
year
hell.
though, with the Peking Duck House, and it
Yeah.
looked like one of those deals where they wanted to get out of business or something because there was no activity there for the longest time. Now Pompano Beach is a particularly difficult area. I guess a lot of areas of Florida come under this heading. Particularly difficult area for permitting and things like that. They will shut you down for the most minor of discrepancies with whatever the rules and regulations are. So maybe they had some problems with permits and stuff, but I would like to see it come back because I would have to say
Yeah,
easily would
because
be my
I'm
go-to
sick of
place
hearing
to run.
about Ming's Diner, whatever the place with the
Oh,
bulletproof
Minnie's Kitchen.
glass.
There
Ming's
are other
Kitchen.
places comparable to that, but none of them are really quite the quality of the Peking Duck House. I'll
Well,
give them that.
we're gonna have an in-depth conversation about both Peking duck and Chinese food in general because this Sunday is the Chinese
Oh,
Lunar
yeah.
New Year, the year of the rabbit. And as fate would have it, I took my mom this morning to her podiatrist, who I haven't seen in a while. Her name is Dr. Choi, and she is of Chinese. She's Chinese background. Chinese, is her heritage.
Now, you're not doing
And we-
racial profiling and assuming that all
No,
Chinese
no, but we
people-
had a discussion. She knows I'm a food guy, and that
Oh,
she
okay.
didn't realize I have this food.
Where does she like
daily
to go?
show now. Well, no, we were talking first about Antonio's Pizza Place because she's going back and forth between the two different locations, and then
Yeah.
I started asking her about Chinese restaurants for Chinese New Year. Actually, not racial profiling, just because I had asked if she'd ever. She actually asked me about Chinese food, and then I asked about this place Hong's Barbecue that I love, and it's close to
Yeah.
where she lives, and she hadn't been there yet. But she told me about a place called China Pavilion, which is where she's been going for dim sum.
China Pavilion, okay.
Yeah, it's out in Pines, and the other place in Pembroke Pines that was known for its dim sum, Gold Marquess, is shut for renovations. But now there's talk it might be permanent. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But she was saying that this China Pavilion is a good standby. They don't have the rolling carts, but they have, she said, good dim sum that you just order off a slip and then they bring it to you. But I want to talk about all these things. And Sarni bringing up that it's Peking Duck Day, he asked,
Today is actually
it-
Peking Duck Day.
Why
yeah,
would
which
that-
seems weird why you would have it as opposed to just
America.
Chinese New Year, but it's whatever. But I do have some places.
Sure,
for
Sonny,
Peking Duck.
not goading you and making up this stuff.
I
I don't know. I
100%.
got to look it up. I'll do a fact check on the break. But he was asking, what would I rather be called? Is it better to be a strange cat or a what was the thing that he said? Or an odd duck? would I rather be an
Oh,
odd duck or a
strange cat
strange
or an
cat?
odd duck.
And I was going to protest and say, how could you say I don't know why Defo keeps saying I'm a strange cat.
You are
And
you're
then,
strange
and
like all
then,
of us, man.
no,
I mean,
then
come
I
on.
just as I'm doing the first segment today, the first 10 minutes, I am a strange cat.
You're a
Yeah,
strange cat. No.
100%.
No, that was more of an odd duck. I mean, this whole medical demonstration that you were doing. A strange cat could be like fine. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have negative connotations. It's just you're a strange cat, right? I mean, you could be a jazz musician. A lot of those
But
guys
yes,
are
a
strange
strange
cats.
cat's fine. That doesn't bother
I'd
me.
rather
Odd
be
duck
a,
Yeah.
weirds me out. I don't know why.
I'd rather be a hep
no.
cat than a
Odd
strange
duck though
cat.
starts to imply that maybe there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
But I'm COVID negative.
Do you
There's
remember
nothing
I
wrong
mean,
with
are
me.
these places still around, Michael? I haven't seen one in a while. And originally, when I first got married to my first wife, and she was going through her pregnancy, and unfortunately, if you have that experience, and Lubie, you may come under this, unfortunate circumstance. Also, you start eating like she does, and some women just remain really thin, and then others really like pound on the food. And there was a place I lived in Kendall at the time called Canton Chinese. It was the original one, and they made a steak that was fantastic. It was so good, and all of the food that they put out, I mean, was just fresh and good, and the prices were very reasonable. And then they kind of expanded. I know they opened one in Pembroke Pines, where later I used to frequent that place. I had moved to Miramar after my son was born. And I love the Canton Chinese restaurants. Are they still in existence? They ended up, I think, with quite a few of them, like
I
maybe
feel like I've heard of Canton.
maybe a half a dozen, but I don't know that I've seen one recently. Are you aware of the status of the Canton Chinese restaurant chain?
There's
Not a
one-
chain, but they were sort of like multiple locations.
Well, yeah, it was like a regional. You call it a regional chain where there's the same brand name and operates, and there's
The
that
original one in
same thing
Kendall
with
was dynamite, man. I mean, the food was always great.
I've never been there, but around me
There's
we
one
have
in Tamarack.
Hunan Wok. Oh, is there?
There's one in the
Okay, so
Gables.
all right, so the name is still enduring, and it's like up in New York. There's some of those that used to be the Szechuan, something like
Stuff was,
Szechuan
I mean, the
Garden,
steak was
and then there
fantastic.
was
It was absolutely delicious.
Ollie's.
The steak that they
Well,
made.
steak.
Yeah.
You want a great Chinese place with steak? You're talking about Christine Lee's at
Yeah,
Gulfstream Park.
and
That's
and then they had a
renowned
seafood
for
waba, they called it. And no, that wasn't making
right
fun of the Asian
sizzling
accent.
platter. No,
Really great, man. The
That
seafood waba.
was
I remember that.
war ba, and it's served on a sizzling platter,
Yeah,
usually over a bed of like fried noodles.
great
I
stuff.
used to get that up in Brooklyn at a place again. And those would be called the Cantonese, but American Chinese
It
style,
wasn't
where
like
the
New York
families
Chinese,
would
but it was great Chinese food. I thought.
right.
Yeah,
Well, there's no such thing as New York
What does that
Chinese,
mean when
okay?
people say that?
There's old school what Cantonese
it is different there.
style
I don't
that
know what
got
it is, Michael, but it is
all
different.
right.
Even
It really
Then
is.
I would banish you from Let's Eat because again, it's like New York style Chinese food is these places that are Cantonese that have blended with American tastes. So you have things like the General Tso's chicken and the war ba platters and things like that. And yeah, people say it's better in New York because everything is better in New York. But you're just talking about a place in Kendall that you said was great. So
But
you've
different.
just
It
proven your
wasn't
own
New York
case.
style. I mean, it was different than anything I
I'm
had
gonna
had
bang
in New
my
York.
head against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna talk more Chinese food after I'm gonna talk about. Well, I talked to Nikki Mohan a little bit this
Yeah,
morning,
how's she
and we're
doing,
trying to
Nikki?
figure out our next date. She's good. She had a good time at the food
Yeah, she seemed
festival, and
really
as
honest.
did everybody.
Was she
She was
judging?
hanging
Was she
out.
judging and all?
No, she was not among
Bounces
the
around.
judges, probably because of her new position that she can't be. I guess she has to be neutral or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know that she was there, and she said she was more hanging out. They had this big music stage set up, and there were bands
Oh
cranking
yeah.
all
Wow.
along
Nice.
this setup about that they blocked off 2 blocks of Las Olas, and she was out there jamming and grooving and having a good time. I was, of course, by the food VIP section and where the cooking demonstration stage was. And that's where all the judges had to hang out because we had to give our selections. But she had a great
Who
time
else
there.
that we would know were among the judges?
Lynn Martinez, remember
Oh,
Lynn
I like Lynn
Martinez?
Martinez. Yeah, very
Yeah,
sharp
she
on
was.
Channel
She
7.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was one of the judges.
And she
There
does
was
some cooking stuff. Or is it that's Belkys Neray does the cooking
Belkys
thing?
is now
Yeah.
the Bites with
Yeah.
Belkys person
Right.
on 7, but there was a bunch of
Lisa
other
Petrillo, did she make it out there?
chefs.
Lisa
No, I didn't
Petrillo?
see no Lisa Petrillo. But there were a couple of other chefs and a couple of other blogger types, and by the end of the day, it was all a blur. So I don't know, but I think there was about 5 or 6 of them, and they came up with their winners. But now it's time we got to get back into the groove of going out, and I think I want to find a Chinese restaurant for Lunar New Year. And again, even though the beginning of the Lunar New Year celebration is this Sunday, January 22nd, it's actually a 2-week long celebration that the Asian cultures and Chinese have for the Lunar New Year, and it's capped by the Lantern Festival at the end of the 2 weeks. So we got a little window there to get in and celebrate the Lunar
Is
New
there a
Year.
certain kind of
Chinese.
Chinese? Because mainland China, as you've said, is good. It's my neck of the woods, which I know, God forbid. But
It specializes in Szechuan, and again,
okay, that's what I'm saying.
China
What's
is
the
a
kind of Chinese you're looking for, because I know there's a lot of different.
well, there's different provinces. It's just the way that, the US is a big place. And if you were in Europe and said, I'm going to an American restaurant, well, some places might specialize in New England seafood, and another place might specialize in Southern cooking and get your biscuits and gravy. So, same thing. Chinese, different regions, different styles. So, there's the Szechuan is more known for its hot and spicy. Cantonese is known more for its roasted meats and vegetables. And then you have the Dongbao. You have some of the regions like the Mongolian, which is closer to Russian, and some of them have more of the curries and more of the ones along the Indian border. So it's all
Somehow,
different.
when I saw Mongolian beef on a Chinese restaurant menu, it seemed very primitive to me for some reason. I don't know if that was influenced by old movies or anything, but it didn't have
Well, what I
necessarily
love
the appeal that I was thinking of.
is
I got to order that Mongolian beef.
is in
But you say
horse
it's good.
race.
Yeah.
In horse racing, there's that Mongolian stables, and it's actually an outfit of Mongolian. I don't know, they must be, some sort of businessmen or whatever, but they show up at the track with those.
They look like Bolsheviks.
The Mongolian hats, the big
Yeah.
fur hats and stuff. It's kind of wild.
Always
to see that, but-
intimidating when like a UFC fighter is wearing one of those Mongolian things, comes in there. You're hoping that this guy, it can match up to the bravado it took to wear the outfit in there, like Hector Camacho, but where they wear those intimidating Russian hats. It's crazy. What is your feeling about Peking duck, though? In general, are you a fan?
Let me get done with this spot, and let's get to the first break, and then we'll talk
That's what I'm
Peking
saying.
Duck.
Don't get thrown off your game. I mean,
yeah, you're throwing me every which way with the COVID.
So-
No, you actually Lubie this time, because there's many different styles of Chinese cuisine, and that
but I'm asking on purpose for the Visit Lauderdale.
now I got it, because of the
What are you
diversity.
looking for
What am
for the Chinese restaurant?
I'm looking for a good meal at a good price, like everything else. But there are different regions and different places that specialize in different styles. Now, like you were talking about, mainland China bistro, and we might go in there. I'm going to get in touch with Tiffany, is one of the co-owners there, and I've been in there and I reviewed it favorably, so they still talk to me. But that's a place that's a big, beautiful,
Just have a lot of space.
beautiful, big
race.
restaurant. But they have two kind of distinct menus there. One is more of the Szechuan, which is a spicy hot red peppers tingling your tongue, and good health benefits with that too. And then they have more of the traditional Cantonese, where they do have a great Peking duck there at mainland China bistro. They have
what
a
are
couple of
the
chefs.
qualities, though? I mean, what makes a great Peking duck?
Oh,
Crispy outside.
You have to have
tender
crisp.
inside, and
Yes,
what's the deal?
crisp. Yeah, a Peking
And
duck.
how do you find
has,
it? I mean, does it appeal to you, Peking duck? You do like weirder things than I do. I'm not really inclined to order duck.
Peking duck has to be air dried for like 2 days, so that the skin, like, you
That's
hang
why
it
it's
up.
always hanging there. In
And
the
then
window?
the skin gets nice and dry and crispy.
Okay.
The point of Peking duck is to have that crisp skin, because what you're going to do, a chef comes in and carves up the duck with a cleaver with very thin slices of the meat, usually the breast meat, and then they carve out the
Like he's in
legs that you
Goodfellas
can,
and he's in the
yeah,
Servino
yeah,
scene. Yeah.
like with the garlic. And
Yeah.
then they have, what they do is, usually you get those mushu pancakes. Peking duck is served usually with the
Oh, there you go.
pancake.
Yeah, you're right.
You have those little thin slivers. The best places have that
Like
really
that.
dry, crisp skin as the bottom, that they put at the bottom above the pancake. Then comes some of the moist meat. Then comes some of the scallions and the hoisin. Actually, the hoisin sauce can be placed on the pancake itself or on the top. And then you roll it all up and you have a delicious bite. And that is
A
basically
Chinese
your,
duck burrito is kind of what you're describing.
a Chinese
It's
duck
like a wrap.
burrito.
It's like
Very
a wrap.
nice.
I get
Yeah.
Exactly. Or a Chinese crepe, a duck crepe.
All right, something
You
else
could-
struck me as you were discussing this, and I know you've seen the place a million times. I guess you probably reviewed it, though. But on Let's Eat South Florida, people say, well, the highest end, Chinese or,
Rainbow
food of that type.
Palace. It's American
Rainbow
Chinese.
Palace, yeah. And everybody also alludes to the fact that it's super expensive. Which
expensive.
is it
It's
worth it as a place to go? I mean, to a lot of people, they really love it and they'll pay any price.
It depends what style you like. For those who
Yeah.
have more Americanized palates, again, high quality ingredients. They use very good cuts of meat and chicken, and expertly prepared. But it's more Americanized style Chinese food. In terms of, you're not going to find things that you're not going to find the chicken feet. You're not going to find the shark fin soup, even though that's banned everywhere now. But
Yeah.
um,
The rat tail, the occasional rat
you're
tail
going to
in some of the-
find things like a seafood lo mein that they prepare expertly, and it's with white linen, tablecloths, very nice service, very high prices. It's not my style. When I go out for
No.
Chinese, I
As long as you
kind
get
of
the scoop of vanilla ice cream at the end, it doesn't matter what the
that's it.
rest of the meal is
Well,
like.
if you want that
That
scoop
one
of
scoop,
vanilla
I
ice
don't even
cream,
know. Yeah, I don't
Christine.
even know what.
Again, I go back to
Yeah.
Christine Lee's, because
Yeah.
Christine Lee's at Gulfstream. Mary has become a friend. I've been going there for years. They have the best spare ribs, the honey glazed spare ribs there. If you get them well done, they come out just perfect, crispy, yet still meaty. But there at Christine Lee's, they serve the ice cream. It's not free anymore. It used to be you get the free
Oh,
scoop
yeah.
of pistachio,
With
but
a fortune
the-
cookie, and
well,
that's it.
there, no, they serve it in a waffle bowl and with a scoop of vanilla Haagen-Dazs ice cream, and
Sounds already.
it's,
Yeah.
it's expensive, but again, it's
I
a
can't
nice
believe you
quality
panned the
scoop.
wings there. I thought they were great. The chicken wings they had
Okay, now you're
at Christine
twisting
Lee's.
things. I never said they were bad.
Oh,
That's
you
not.
made a face,
I
Michael
didn't
Lubitz.
pan them.
I mentioned
Yeah,
it, and he ran away. And went,
I said
That's
they
okay."
were fine. Okay, but if I'm going to Christine Lee's, I want those honey lacquered ribs, because that's the best.
Yeah, the ribs are
I'm
really
not going to
good.
Well,
waste
maybe
my
you're a fan of the
calories there.
chicken wings. I mean, I thought they were great. I
Fine,
really
go
did.
ahead. You have their chicken wings, and I'll have my ribs. We'll all
All right.
be. It's food. It's subjective.
I don't want to go
okay?
over there with you anyway because you're probably.
But I didn't
paying
say they were
loads of money.
bad.
No.
Oh, you should come with me. It's
I
cool.
think
get the
all
pan.
these places have really demonstrated the great diversity that we
Thank you
have,
for
even in the
bringing-
Chinese community
I gotta get these
of
spots in.
food here in the greater Fort Lauderdale
you
area.
hit the nail on the head there, Lubie. Because whether it's the diversity in the Chinese cuisine
Yes.
or all over the
Yes.
globe,
Way to
Greater
go,
Fort
Lubie.
Lauderdale is
Good
the
job.
place
Brought
to
him back
go.
to earth. Nice.
You're the one who's dragging me out of
I don't
Stratford.
I'm
mind
just
it.
having a lot of fun here today because I'm seeing
think it's
bugs.
all-
Because you're
So-
dying over there.
No, I'm okay. I don't feel terrible. I'm not as good as I thought I would feel earlier this morning.
Right.
I thought that I was
Well,
absolutely past this thing already. So there's
Well,
still
I'm just
some
telling
remnants of disease here.
I
Here,
just think
I'm gonna
it shows what there is for Visit Lauderdale. Like, I think it shows what's out there.
Yeah.
Like, it really does.
I got-
From
I-
Christine
I-
Lee's to mainland are very different.
Right.
Even to Peking Duck House or Maze.
How,
They're very different,
Um,
but they all have an undercurrent of quality, and I enjoy all kinds of Chinese.
like how
I'm down to
pricey though? I'm just
97.
curious. I've never gone. I might have eaten at the Rainbow Palace once a long time ago. I don't remember, but how pricey is it compared to other places? I mean, is it really outrageously different? Because
The mainland wasn't bad. I don't know about Christine Lee's.
No,
The
no.
mainland wasn't bad.
Christine
Rainbow
Lee's
Palace,
is
yeah.
Christine
crazy
Lee's is
place.
higher.
Christine Lee's is
priced.
pricey, no question. They're
But it's
also on a
also at a
Yeah,
racetrack
yeah.
and a casino. But
And
then
it's
you've got Rainbow Palace. Okay, let's say that the standard, even the better Chinese places along Sterling Road or 441, they're charging in the, $15 to $25 range for their noodles and entrees. But Rainbow Palace is more along the lines of $35 to $45. So it's more along
Okay,
the
so that's
fine
steep.
dining places. Yeah.
It's like a nice.
Yeah.
$28 for a lo mein to $45 for some of the fish. and
It's a little
seafood
pricey.
dishes.
That better be
Yeah,
good.
it's
That
pricey.
better be really, really good, Mike Mayo.
But again, it's diversity. Everyone under the sun, every taste under the sun, every price point under the
Get
sun.
it all here, ready.
all is there. Culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados, come one, come all. Get ready to savor every flavor and every moment here in Greater Fort Lauderdale. From dockside dining with breathtaking views of both the Intracoastal and the beach, to lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard, to award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable, like our friend Gabe's. Not Gabe. I'm sorry. Solomon.
This is a
now
well-crafted spot. A well-crafted. If I was grading this in a broadcasting class, I would have to give you an 8.
Well, it's a 10-minute spot, so they can't complain about because we've been.
I mean, the
stretching
point
out.
has never been off center
stretching.
here. I mean, it's obvious
Evelyn's,
what you're trying to
Evelyn's, the restaurant at the New Four Seasons Hotel that's Mediterranean, a very talented young chef with the last name of Solomon and a first name that escapes me now because I had COVID at one point. So
Gamora was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, a world-class culinary scene is waiting for you here. There's more than 4,000 area restaurants. And so come play and stay in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Tell all your friends to come on down. You can explore the thrilling nightlife scene filled with craft breweries along the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, the hidden speakeasies, the rooftop terraces, the expert mixologists. It's a never-ending, both culinary and, I guess, what would you call the drinking part of it?
Libation.
Libations. There you go.
Yeah,
Culinary
nice.
and libation celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for all the latest news and events and promotions and deals, go to visitlauderdale.com.
Well, staying looking pretty good. She's looking very spry. So maybe the DeForest family is easing its way out of this mess, and
It's good.
that was tremendous. Oh, look, we
All
got
right.
more tests. We got.
Let's
the test.
do at least a bunch of spots, and we'll come back. I got more things. I got a new sauce to taste too. So,
Oh, Jesus.
What's that?
It's
Everybody
called
just drinks it now.
Antonio Carlo.
You just
and
drink it. You don't even stick a piece of bread in
He just
there anymore.
drinks. He just drinks.
I gotta sample it first straight up, and then I'll put it on some pasta later.
All right. Well,
This
I'm feeling
one,
some symptoms of epilepsy. I'm hoping you don't all of a sudden assume you have that now too, Mike. You're amazing.
epilepsy. Do I need to get you like a rubber tongue?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting that whatever disease is mentioned on the show, you all of a sudden have it. It just no one.
Let's do some breaks. I can't believe it's already 40 minutes into the show. We got to take a double.
You finally got a spot in. That was good. All right, we'll be back with more in a moment.
You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent. back on the Lunchbox. We're having a grand old time today. We're getting ready for the Chinese Lunar New Year celebration. Not just limited to Chinese restaurants. I think many Asian cultures celebrate the Lunar New Year, and that starts this Sunday. We talked a little bit about places to get Peking duck, but now I've kind of just forgotten all of them. But Mainland China Bistro up in Coral
Do a nice
Springs
job.
has a good one. And just in terms of roasted duck, again, my new hotspot for Chinese Cantonese is Hong's Barbecue on Sterling Road there,
Okay.
a little in between State Road 7 and University Drive. It's in a shopping plaza that also has a Carvel ice cream store. But anyway, Hong's has those, roasted ducks sitting up there.
Oh, interesting.
They also have the pork and ribs and the things like that. But they have, and I was talking about this with my mom's podiatrist who's never been there, and she's Chinese, and her name is Dr. Choi, and she's a big foodie. And we were talking about, she lives up in that area near Griffin Road, and we were also talking about whether she likes going to Tropical Acres, and she loves going to Tropical Acres. She said she went on a date with her before she got married, but now husband, and loved it. She loved the old school vibe, and so now I'm going to do my spot singing the praises of Tropical
Nice.
Acres because if it's good enough for Dr. Choi. And she says she doesn't care about hip and all that. She just loves the value. She loves the food. She loves getting taken care of by Jack and then his sons Joe and Jackson. And we love Tropical Acres. It's a 2500 Griffin Road, and it's just west of the airport in 95. And she says she goes there for like a lot of special occasions, including she was there this past Christmas. So, and now is the time to remind you that they're going to be open for Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Valentine's Day is going to be, I think, on a Tuesday this year, the 14th, and they are already filling up the books. So you definitely want to give them a call over at Tropical Acres to get your reservation now for Valentine's Day. And they're going to have a special menu as they usually do on holidays. And then, of course, it's not just for special occasions. It's for any occasion. You go in there any night of the week, you'll get a great deal, full meal that includes a salad and a side dish with your steaks and seafood dishes. You also have the happy hour in the bar, 4:30 to 6:30, half price wine night, Monday and Tuesday. It's got everything you want. Again, if you want to make your reservations now for Valentine's Day, it's never too early. 954-989-2500. That's 954-989-2500. Tropical Acres. I love it. And it's anybody who's in
Oh, it's
search.
funny when you said old school. It's so weird because old school in this day and age, it can go either way. Antique is like a thing, or it's old and outdated. Like when we first went there that time, where I went with Shirley and you, and I sat down on it, like to me, it meant comfortable. Like I remember sitting down, looking around, and I just felt like it wasn't busy, it wasn't crazy, it wasn't lights and all the garbage that you have in a lot of these places. It was just like good service, good food. They gave a dang, and like it just felt like okay, homey. Like I felt homey. Like, and I don't know why that's negative to some people, but to
That's
me,
not negative at all. Some people want flash and Instagrammable backgrounds and this and that. I just want a decent meal at a reasonable price. And God, you throw in a couple of those $7 Belvedere martinis during happy hour in the bar. I am one happy strange cat or one happy odd duck, either one. And
You could be both, man. I have to show you this. The Mustang just went out and grabbed the mail. Okay, this is today's mail at the DeForest household here.
yes,
Lauderdale by the Sea. Okay, Harris free cruise.
of course.
2 complimentary nights at the Hard Rock. Okay.
I got one of those, Defo. They want
This
their
is
poker money.
another cruise thing out of New Orleans. Rewards, you'll love it. This is also from Harris Caesars Tropicana. This is Caesars Atlantic City. We want you back. Seminole Casino has sent me an invitation to do something. Princess Players Club, join the reward. This is all in today's
That's
mail.
just
Like
one day's mail.
Seminole Casino, Coconut Creek. There's another one from Coconut Creek,
This
2
is,
in
this
one
is
day.
not just from one day, right?
This is
has
one
gotta
day's
be-
mail. This
This
is
is an
it.
accumulation of at
The
least.
casino at Dania Beach
Please
wants
tell
me
me.
out there.
Please tell me.
You would think
Harrah's Pompano Beach. Harrah's Pompano Beach. They're now Harrah's, and it used to be the Isle. 20 times a slot dollar multiplier
Right,
from the
stop.
MGM Grand.
this is
1-888.
Wheel of Winners. Wheel of
Admit
Winners.
You would think
1-888.
Oh,
Admit
this
it.
is for a credit card. Okay, no problem. I
Oh,
guess that's
good.
appropriate. And then
More credit.
the Blue
Oh,
Delta offering me a chance to come up there.
Where's the Blue
again.
Delta?
I don't know. Isn't that like
Mongolia?
no?
Mongolian
You know,
Missouri.
Memphis area there, whatever that is.
Not to get all Jeff Foxworthy on you, but you may have a gambling problem if you can't open your mailbox because it's completely stuffed.
That's amazing
Fire.
because you're thinking, okay, good. Maybe I used to be checks, while we were in there from the various sponsors that we had, and now 12 casino come-ons, 1 day's mail.
I just got
12.
a text from Joe Cassell saying Defo has reached full degenerate status with today's mail, and I'm saying has reached. He's been there for decades.
I've been there forever, but the problem is they don't want me. They want the Mustang because she
I was
plays
gonna
slot
say,
machines.
She's.
I get no consideration there.
I'd
They don't
also
want me to
rather
come to these
have
places.
Mustang on the floor of my casino than your sickly old.
Listen to you, man. I
Mustang.
mean, they're always taking physical shots here, Mike Mayo. It's really unkind of you. I mean,
You're the one
but,
calling me a strange cat. You're anthropomorphizing.
you are a strange cat. There's no question. I don't consider that
All right.
necessarily to be derogatory
brings us
comments.
to our-
Yeah. I mean, a guy that's a food critic
I
that's
don't
going to drink
understand.
spaghetti sauce on his own television show
I
is a
really don't
strange cat,
understand
man. I'm
how
sorry.
you can call me a strange cat just because I'm trying to get through the unopened jarred sauces that we couldn't get to during Sauce Fest 2023.
Did you see your
the
Rails
other week.
is on sale there for like $2 off, and I bought a jar the other day
Yeah.
before it even was posted on Let's Eat South Florida by somebody else. It was like $6.50, and the stuff's good. There's no question. For
good. No,
$6.50,
that's
it's worth
It's good. Again, my top three right now is my
it.
number
It didn't
one
blow
is
my
Carbone.
mind or anything, but it was good.
He's jar. What do you want?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good for a jarred sauce.
Yeah.
But before I mean, my top three are Carbone, and then like in the 2A and 2B spot, right, kind of neck and neck is the Reals, and we're talking strict marinara here. I'm doing nothing but
Straight up,
marinara
yeah,
tasting.
plain old sauce.
And
yeah.
the other one was that Victoria that we didn't get to do the blind tasting of, but when I had it at my house last week, and I drank it on the show last week out of the jar, it's just really good and deep and rich, and I loved it. And to me, it would be in my heavy rotation, particularly because it's only goes for $6.99 regular price, not that $8.99, $9.99 range that some of the other ones do, and
Right.
apparently. Public sometimes has it BOGO. So if you could get 2 jars of that Victoria sauce for $7 at $3.50 each, that's a great deal. Now this sauce is
Oh,
called.
did you see though? Public's doing a public service. You often give them a hard time about their egg prices, but they now have the eggs on layaway, literally. You can make installment payments and come back and get your dozen after like 3 easy payments of $4. So it's great.
That's good. All right, Antonio Carlo did not make the blind tasting, but I opened the jar, and the thing that struck me about this was 2 things. First of all, it has this Italian flag, and it says, original recipe, handcrafted marinara sauce, and you think it's Italian. Well, it uses apparently Italian tomatoes, but it's produced in Wilmington, North Carolina.
I
And
would say New Jersey. New Jersey has good tomatoes.
New Jersey has good.
Yeah.
No, but again, I don't know. It says, I think that they said from imported fresh plum tomatoes, so it could be imported from anywhere. Who knows?
Nice.
But anyway, here we go. We're gonna take a sample.
You're just going to drink it? I mean, a spoon wouldn't be appropriate. Oh my God! See, this is a sick person, Mike Lubitz. Don't you believe this? We have pumped him up to international acclaim with his various television and radio.
This does not make the cut. Oh, it's okay.
No good.
I'm making a face. First of all, the first thing I got hit with. I got hit with like this basil flavor, and the label says that it uses fresh basil, but it tastes like that dried basil that Tom T hates so much. That was the first.
Tommy
flavor.
T should be the judge of all of this stuff anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
he is the most qualified of all of us.
And it basically, that's the first hint that I got was that kind of dried basil flavor. The tomatoes, it seems a little thin, and it's like they're chunky too. I don't like that chunky thing. And the weird part is, I'm looking at the label here. It has the most calories of any sauce that I bought. It has 130 calories per serving. The other ones were in the 60.
Well, what do
to
they
90
consider a
range.
serving? Like a tablespoon? I mean, that's
It is
deceptive also.
considered
An ounce?
Serving size looks like a half cup, so that would be 4 ounces. That's
What
the
do you
standard.
That's nothing. I mean, I'm pouring half a jar on the smallest amount of
No,
punch.
but that's a serving. So 4 ounces of sauce. This one has 130 calories. The other ones were, I think the Victoria only had 70. Now, that's a function of the olive oil. This one apparently uses, 10 grams.
If you're
fat
eating
per
pasta
serving.
though with
And it
jarred
tastes better.
spaghetti sauce, are you counting calories?
But that's
that's
what I'm
another
saying. If
question.
you're gonna have more calories, why wouldn't it have more flavor, right? Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be more
Right.
salt?
I would think I would get more of the velvety subtlety of the olive oil. Usually gives it that good kind of fuller, rich, and that it just kind of gives it a smoother and nice flavor. But there's apparently a lot of olive oil in here, but I don't like the flavor at all.
All right, so you're going back for more. That's what I like about you. He just condemned it as being a complete fraud
No,
and not even handmade.
unlike
You know,
unlike Portnoy, my rule is not just one bite. You got to take at least 2 or 3 sips before you can get a full opinion. And I'm going to put it on some
I
pasta
was gonna
later.
say
Just
try it on food. Maybe it's better
try
on
it on
food.
food, but I don't like this. I mean, just if I was doing a blind taste test, this one would be no more
what
than
would
a
you
5.
end up doing with all of
5.5.
the empty jars or like half empty jars that
We
we had?
No,
At
I
the,
split it
I
up. I have
distributed
three
them.
in my house.
oh, okay.
I distributed them to all the people, and you know who I gave the remnants of, because most of it of the carbone was left. I gave it to Wade and Reese because I said you guys
Nice.
got to try
I'm
this one
trying.
Yeah.
because I've had it. So
What they
anyway,
think of it?
so Antonio Carlo, sorry you're out, and it says he says some call it marinara, others call it spaghetti sauce, a few call it gravy, but nothing is more authentic than marinada. I guess that's what his nona would say,
right.
marinada. But I say it
And
scores
it
almost
doesn't make the cut, huh? All right.
nada
0.0.
points.
All
All right, well that was thrilling. Hey, it's already we got to do one more break, right? So let's do one more break, and then we'll end this monstrosity. And
I love the organizational skills you're showing on this program. It's fantastic.
it seems that the trains run on time better on the days that you are in sick bed. So,
Welcome to my.
Yeah, but you're whining about your health and you're losing tickets and all of this stuff.
I'm
Nobody
not.
wants to
Who's
hear that.
whining? I
Well,
didn't
we
whine. and I
mentioned
never-
a million Chinese restaurants today. We got a lot more material into the show just by the fact that we were riding you the entire time.
no, we got and Peking Duck.
Remember in
is-
wrestling when you had riding time and that would decide the match, depending on which fat guy laid on top of the other fat guy for the longest period of time while they were doing nothing on the mat, kind of like a UFC thing. Riding time, I think, is very important. The amount of time that we ride you on this show, it helps a lot. All right,
Please
get the
help
break
me.
in there.
Lubie,
Mike,
get
man.
the break.
Don't
We'll
mind
be
me.
right back after this.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. I was just doing some adminning on the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group, approaching 100,000. That's crazy. I don't know what we're going to do for our 100,000 celebration.
Is there a limit? I mean, do they cut you off like they do with a personal page at 5,000
I
or
don't
something?
think so. I
No
don't
limit
know.
to groups, huh?
I have no idea. We're going to find out, I guess, and something to ponder is what we're going to do. Somebody just posted nice things about Casa Calabria. I haven't been there in a while. And
Casa Calabria is great. I love that.
We got to catch up with Frankie and
Frankie
get
did,
back
yeah.
to the Tiki
Yeah.
Bar there and do some more things with them,
out there.
because it's coming up to that whole spring, summertime, and we need
place
places to hang out. So that'll be fun. And the other thing is we were talking about, so somebody posted on the group today, just these blurts that sometimes I like to post, is like somebody says somebody just tell me about this group. So, how would you describe that group if somebody was just landing from Mars and it got a lot of amusing?
I would say
responses?
this, Mike Mayo. I have a different perspective, obviously, than you do, because you deal with it, and you seem to be somewhat put back by, a lot of the things that are said and written on there. But I see it as a good guideline to finding places that you might find very, very much to your taste, that you would not necessarily have known about. And when you do try them, often, if the majority of people seem to be with a favorable viewpoint, you will probably find that that place is very good. And the places that I've tried as a result of, like the Eat Tapas, for example, turned out to be a very good find. And I never would have gone in there under any other circumstances, except Wicked Cheesesteaks, another one, where we, just went in there because I saw a number of favorable reviews on Let's Eat South Florida. So I think as a guide to places that you might find, even if you have your favorite restaurants, other places to try, and even by direction geographic, really an excellent source for information of that type.
Yeah, I would
And
say.
a lot of the fetching and the debates I can ignore completely, even though they're interesting, but
Right,
nonetheless,
because
yeah, I
I
mean,
guess
it's not really the important element there.
I'm jaded because I have to live it and deal with
All
it
the negativity.
24/7 almost, but it is gratifying to hear, like you say, you find it useful. And at the food festival this week, not that I'm any kind of like a celebrity or known quantity, but people coming up to me and say, "You're Mike Mayo," and they just gush about the group. Well, first when they say you're Mike Mayo, I say, "Do I owe you money?"
Yeah.
And then when they say that no, that they just are on the group and they love the group and they find it, like you said, informative and guiding you
You
to good new
infiltrated my
places.
family though with this thing. See, and again, yesterday, an example. My son actually sent me a text about 1 o'clock and said, "Are you okay, Dad?" And I said, "Well, I ended up with COVID and this and that." And he said, "Well, I could tell something was wrong because you weren't on with Dave Hyde and Mike Mayo on the Lunchbox." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, but I was on my other show there. You could
I just
tell
love
what
that
was going on with me."
we do
And
it
now
for
I'm just strictly known as a sidekick for Mike Mayo, which
so
I think
funny.
is phenomenal. That's what I always aspired to during like 40 years of barking out all of
Is
that
that
stuff about the Dolphins and Don Shula and all of the shows and going to Flanagan's in this place and Tony Roma's and all these all over the world, traveling. And I wanted to end up being known as Mike Mayo's sidekick on the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show. Now, my own family, this is how they find out about me from this program.
well, now you know how Lubie feels, but we're all co-equals here at the Lunchbox show.
No, this is your show, strictly. I
That's
mean,
my
Oh,
show.
we're
You
just
mean
here to
you
kind
mean
of
you
get
want to
you through it.
disassociate yourself from this? You don't want to be known as
No,
the
I think it's great. I think it could get even more bizarre because obviously we're working with a major component of any entertainment vehicle, which is a strange cat.
I got
Normal
socks on
doesn't
my lip
sell,
now.
Mike Mayo. Normal doesn't sell. I don't
that's
think
No,
so.
you got to do a
Not
little
in
stuff.
today's society.
That's it.
man.
Hey, we're over time. We've done it. We've finished the show. I don't know. I guess there might have been some useful bits of information in here, but
I
we'll
think you
talk
covered a
more.
lot of ground in your own inevitable way.
It wasn't particularly cohesive or organized, but again, we're going to blame it on the COVID.
No,
Even
blame it
though
on
I don't
Sarni.
have
I blame it completely on Sarni. He threw you off again
Well,
on
sorry,
another
always, but I like
tangential path.
when we quiz you about food and you explain the food, and that's what we did. We talked about the
Right.
Chinese food at length,
Well,
which we haven't really done.
I need to come up with more Peking duck places because I know they're out there. My brain is kind of scattered. At
Not a lot of
this
places
point.
do it. It is a specialty. Like it isn't.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
to do it right. Oh, I forgot the place up in Chili Crab up in Boca. They do a very good. That mainland China bistro and in Coral Springs, Chili Crab and Boca Raton are the two places to go for the most authentic Peking duck, where they come out and they cleave it and they have the really dry, crisp skin with the very thin pancakes, and you got the scallion and the hoisin sauce, and that's great. It's so there you go. Useful food information from a guy who
Very good.
chugs marinada sauce.
Now, let me ask you this, just a quick parting thought here. If a place goes through a lengthy remodeling, like Anthony's Runway 84, which was fine before, and
Yeah.
obviously I was a fan
Always
of
a
Peking
risk.
Duck House. I wasn't. Was it the finest? No, but was it very good? I think yes, for what it is. Do you expect them to come back and be even better
Better.
after the remodeling?
I'm at 97 right now, so I've dropped a point.
You better get to
from
the
just
hospital.
dealing
Yeah.
with you. No, it's always a risk, but in terms of a place that's been around a while, and Anthony's, we love Anthony Bruno. I love
that place isn't going to go down in quality.
I
Yeah.
love the airplane hangar thing. I thought it was
Yeah.
kitschy,
Yeah, it seemed
but I
cool.
liked it. Now they're going for a completely different vibe after 40 years. I always
you
want to
can't
give them
blame
a
'em.
chance, but you risk alienating people. But when you're dealing with good food and good
Yeah.
people, sometimes mix it up. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Go in with an open mind, and I liken it to this. It's not like throwing the ball on 3rd and 19 with your rookie third string quarterback. It's like going for it on 4th and inches because you already have a winner, but the
No,
chance
yeah,
of
you
you
know.
getting over the line and making it and you moving forward into the future and you keep going forward.
Unless you're the Ravens.
Right.
And you're going for the go-ahead score and the easy cover for all those that were, getting 8 points. And instead, you decide to fumble it and send the
Sorry,
other guy
Joe, man.
98 yards the other direction.
We almost made
Unbelievable.
it with no sports. Sorry.
See, what I like to do is I put the pulse oximeter on different.
You should put
fingers
that
and
on
see
your
the different-
nose. And,
But I-
after your picks last week.
97. My pulse is good. 75, 78. I'm getting.
Nobody
up there,
cares
but-
about your medical condition. You're fine.
Well, I care about yours, Defo. That's why I want you to
You're
go
not
out
that
to your
concerned
local
about my medical
Publix.
condition. I think
I
you have
really
a secret
am.
death wish for me. I really do.
No, I don't. I want you to be
And
healthy.
I launched
want
you as
to-
this monster media guy now.
I want you to get one of
retooling
these
of the
just to
career.
stay on top of things, just to kind of and
Good.
go down to your general practitioner, primary care physician, and bang on the door and say, "I want to be seen."
I'm going to come in there like a human flamethrower and say, "I'm breathing on everybody." If you guys don't treat me right now, that's when it's going to be. I'm going to make another call, another futile phone call. That's what I do.
Still at
But,
97.
and we did get
Definitely-
some more home tests, but I'm going to wait another day to take it because I still feel a little
I'll wait till
something.
Thursday
Yeah.
or Friday just to see if you need it.
This show has drained me of oxygen and life force, but I'm glad to see Defo.
I could think of
doing
other
good.
places you could put that thing right now. Mike.
I said his ass.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for today.
I was thinking somewhere else.
Overtime.
I'm gonna-
All right, guys. I hope somebody enjoys this because I don't know if I did, but
People love you, man. They love you. They want to be you. It's amazing.
it is
No,
amazing.
and everybody wants to know what you're like. I mean, that's another new thing that I
And I'm
experienced.
strange.
Hey, what's Mayo
strange
really like?
cat and an odd duck, and I like chugging my spaghetti sauce. Yeah, that's it.
All
All
right.
right.
Very good.
We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna do it again from home for the next couple of days. I guess
I'm off the
Defo,
circuit,
are you,
for at least.
are you
going to
be able to make it outside Gulfstream? I'm comfortable
I hope
sitting
so.
next to you outside.
I'm
Do
hoping to be
another
100.
test.
percent
Do another
Yeah.
test.
No, and
We'll
I'm
do another
fine.
test tomorrow.
Again, we're
We'll see how I
outdoors
am.
there, and you're way beyond the highly infectious point. You were probably more infectious last Friday when nobody
Honestly.
knew.
But I don't think I had anything last Friday. It really didn't kick in until Sunday. So who the hell
Sure.
knows?
I don't think
Okay,
it works
it's
that way.
all.
It's a pain in the ass. Whatever you want to say, it's a pain in the ass. That's all I can say.
That's it. All right, get better. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Make sure to enjoy every sandwich. Bye.